Let's go ahead and go on the record, please. Good morning, everyone. This is the time and place noticed for hearing in the matter of Virgin Mobile USA LP petition for limited designation as an eligible telecommunications carrier. This commission docket number 18-2521-02. My name is Michael Hammer, and I am the commission's designated presiding officer for this hearing. Let's go ahead and take appearances, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Sharon Bertelson from the law firm of Ballard Spahr. I'm representing Virgin Mobile USA LP.
And good morning, I'm Justin Jetter with the Utah Attorney General's Office, and I'm here today representing the Utah Division of Public Utilities. The division has one witness on the phone, Casey Coleman.
My name is Cheryl Murray. I'm with the Office of Consumer Services, and I am without an attorney this morning, and I apologize for the delay that created.
No problem at all. But you're comfortable proceeding?
Sure.
Okay.
Your Honor, we do have two people on the telephone from Virgin Mobile.
Would you folks...
Good morning. This is Diane Browning. I am regulatory counsel for Sprint Corporation, which is the parent company of Virgin Mobile.
And I'm James Appleby. I'm Senior Manager of Regulatory Policy.
Thank you. With that, Ms. Bertelson, do you plan to call a witness?
Yes. Were you going to ask if there's any preliminary matters?
Are there?
No.
Okay.
We would like to call James Appleby, who has already introduced himself. He is a regulatory policy manager for Sprint, and he has submitted pre-filed testimony in this case, and he is available for cross-examination after direct testimony.
All right. Is there any objection to Mr. Appleby testifying by telephone today?
No.
All right. Mr. Appleby, do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Bertelson.
Thank you. Mr. Appleby, please state your name, business address, and full title for the record.
My name is James A. Appleby. I am a Senior Manager of Regulatory Policy, and my business address is 6450 Sprint Parkway, Overland Park, Kansas, 66251.
Mr. Appleby, do you have in front of you a document dated June 7, 2018, captioned Virgin Mobile USA LP's direct testimony, which consists of the testimony of James A. Appleby?
Yes, I do.
Was that document prepared by you or under your immediate supervision?
I prepared it, yes.
And do you have any additions or corrections to that direct testimony?
I do not.
Mr. Appleby, if I were to ask you the same questions today under oath, would your answers be the same?
Yes.
And will you please provide a summary of what Virgin Mobile is offering?
Virgin Mobile's enhanced offer to consumers that have a smartphone, an Android smartphone, will receive 750 voice minutes and 2 gigs of mobile broadband service. The voice service also includes unlimited text, voicemail, caller ID, and national long-distance calling without any charges.
Thank you. Have you reviewed the stipulation and settlement agreement?
I have.
Are you aware of any opposition to that stipulation and settlement agreement?
No, I'm not.
Thank you. I have no further direct questions at this time. I move for the admission into evidence of James Appleby's direct testimony and the stipulation and settlement agreement, please.
No objections.
It's admitted. Any cross-examination, Mr. Jetter?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Ms. Murray? No, thank you. Okay. Any other witnesses, Ms. Bertelsen?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Jetter?
Thank you, Your Honor. The division would like to call and have sworn in Casey Coleman.
Mr. Coleman, can you hear me?
Yes.
And let me ask first, there's no objection to Mr. Coleman testifying by telephone?
No objection.
Okay. Mr. Coleman, do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Coleman, would you please state your name and occupation for the record this morning?
My name's Casey J. Coleman. I'm a utility technical consultant for the Division of Public Utilities.
Thank you. And in the course of your employment with the division, have you had the opportunity to review the application as well as the amended application filed by the applicant, Virgin Mobile USA, along with the settlement stipulation?
Yes.
And is it correct that the division supports the settlement stipulation agreement?
Yes.
Are you aware of any opposition to this agreement from comments from the public or outside of the division?
No.
And finally, do you believe that approval of the stipulation and settlement agreement is just, reasonable, and in the public interest?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions. Mr. Coleman's available for cross.
Ms. Bertelsen?
I have no questions for Mr. Coleman. Thank you.
Ms. Murray? All right. Mr. Jetter, anything else?
Nothing further from the division. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Coleman. Ms. Murray?
My name is Cheryl Murray. My business address is 160 East, 300 South, Salt Lake City, Utah, and I'm a utility analyst for the Office of Consumer Services.
Let me stop you. Are you intending to testify?
Oh, I am.
Then let me swear you in.
Okay.
Ms. Murray, do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please proceed.
On behalf of the office, I've reviewed all of the documents that have been filed in this docket. In addition, I have issued a data request to the company and reviewed Virgin Mobile's responses. I've also participated in discussions that led to the stipulation that is before the Commission today. The office believes that Virgin Mobile meets the requirements to qualify for Utah Universal Service Funds, and therefore the office is a party to that stipulation. As a condition of signing the stipulation, the office required the inclusion of various elements that we assert are important to achieving public interest. Some of those elements are use of a Utah-specific fact sheet that provides customers information about the new services they will receive, a commitment that Virgin Mobile will comply with all state service quality and consumer protection requirements, acknowledgement that approval of the application is conditioned upon payment of all applicable state and local regulatory fees to which they are subject, an attestation that Virgin Mobile is currently in compliance with regulatory requirements governing the payment of applicable state and local regulatory fees. Virgin Mobile agreed to these and other conditions, and they are included in the stipulation. The office also notes that in its original application filed earlier this year, Virgin Mobile proposed to provide 1 gigabyte of data as is currently required by the FCC. As the schedule in this docket was amended and it became clear that approval would be closer to the FCC deadline to provide 2 gigabytes of data, December 1st, 2018, Virgin Mobile changed its offering from 1 gigabyte to 2 gigabytes to prevent having to change customers' available data so shortly after it begins service, if approved. The office views Virgin Mobile's decision as appropriate and considerate of the customers they will serve. In conclusion, the office believes that the stipulation is just and reasonable in result and in the public interest and recommends that the Commission approve it. that concludes my testimony.
Thank you. Ms. Bertelsen, any questions?
I have no cross-examination of Ms. Murray. Thank you.
Mr. Cheddar?
No questions from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Murray. Is there anything else before we adjourn?
Nothing from the division.
Nothing further.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're adjourned.